Good morning to all. Welcome to today's class. Today we are going to discuss the first chapter, some basic concepts of chemistry. The first term that we are going to discuss is science. What is science? What is the definition of science? Science is defined as the systematically arranged body of verified and classified knowledge. And repeating once again, it is defined as the systematically arranged body of verified and classified knowledge. So knowledge has been verified as well as classified, and it is systematically arranged. Study of that is what is called science. So, what is science? Science is defined as the systematically arranged body of verified and classified knowledge. Then, there are some steps are there involved in the study of science. In other words, science is based on scientific method. And the scientific method is based on 5 different steps. They are, the first one, experimentation. What is meant by experimentation? Doing some experiments in the laboratory. While doing some experiments, we are getting some observations. So, second step is recording of observation. Then, as a result of this observation, we are getting a conclusion or a result. So the third is conclusion or result. Then the fourth step is formulation of theories or laws, etc. Fifth step is effort to devise suitable theorems. So science is a systematic study of systematically arranged body of verified and classified knowledge, and the science is based upon scientific method. This scientific method consists of experimentation, systematic recording, organizing result, discovering general relationship, laws, etc. And the fifth one is effort to devise suitable theorems. This is some basic idea regarding what is meant by science. Then we are going to study what is meant by chemistry. We are going to define chemistry. Normally, when somebody asks us, define chemistry, we may say, it's the study of chemicals. But it is not accurate. It is not correct. Then what is the exact definition of chemistry? Chemistry deals with what? Study of matter, its composition, its properties, and the changes happening to all this. The branch of science dealing with this is what is called as chemistry. So, chemistry is the branch of science dealing with the changes happening to the composition and properties of matter. That is, chemistry is the branch of science concerned with the composition and properties of matter with the changes which matter is undergoing. This universe is made up of matter. This matter is undergoing changes. Changes in properties, changes in composition is happening every now and then. So study of that branch of science we can define as chemistry. Then this chemistry has got different branches. The different branches of chemistry are, first one is inorganic chemistry, second is organic chemistry, third one is analytical chemistry, fourth one is physical chemistry, then comes biochemistry and nuclear chemistry. That means inorganic chemistry, organic chemistry, physical chemistry, analytical chemistry, biochemistry, industrial chemistry and nuclear chemistry. These are the different branches of chemistry. Then, what is the importance of chemistry? Without chemistry, our day-to-day life seems to be meaningless. In every field, the application is there. the medical field, the industrial field, in the biochemical field, every now and then each and every application of chemistry is there. Summing up, science defined as the systematically arranged body of verified and classified knowledge. That is the definition of science. Secondly, science is based on scientific knowledge. We can look into the board and see what is there. It is based on scientific method. And the 5 steps based on scientific method is recorded there. First one is experimentation. Second is systematic recording. Third is organizing result. Fourth is discovering general relationship, laws, etc. Then fifth one is effort to devise suitable theorems. Then we have dealt with chemistry, the definition of chemistry. The branch of science concerned with the composition and properties of matter with the changes which matter undergoes. Then the different branches of chemistry: inorganic, organic, analytical, industrial, physical, biochemistry and nuclear chemistry. Next topic is law of chemical combination. Atoms and molecules are combining together based on certain laws. And according to these laws only, atoms as well as molecules are combining together to give different products. And basically they are of 5 in number. Collectively these 5 laws were known as law of chemical combination. And the first law that we are going to discuss is law of conservation of mass. It was being elucidated or put forward by A.L. Lavoisier. So the first law in the law of chemical composition is law of conservation of mass and is put forward by A.L. Lavoisier. This law is also known as law of indestructibility of matter. So law of conservation of mass is also known as law of indestructibility of matter. This law was put forward by A.L. Lavoisier. Then what is the definition of this law? Matter can neither be created nor be destroyed. Matter can neither be created nor be destroyed. Or the total mass of reactants will be equal to products in a chemical reaction. Total mass of reactants as well as the products taking part in a chemical reaction will be same. That is law of conservation of mass says matter can neither be created nor be destroyed. For example, we are considering the formation of carbon dioxide. How carbon dioxide is formed? By the combination of carbon and oxygen. 12 grams of carbon combining with 32 grams of oxygen to give 44 grams of carbon dioxide. So the total mass of reactants, which are the reactants? Carbon and oxygen. CO2 is the product. So the total mass of carbon and oxygen is 12 plus 32. How much? It is 44. And what is the total mass of carbon dioxide? It is 44. So mass of reactant is equal to the mass of product. This is what is called as law of conservation of mass. Matter can neither be created nor be destroyed, or the total mass of reactants as well as product in a chemical reaction is the same. Example is carbon combining with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. 12 gram of carbon combining with 32 gram of oxygen to give 44 grams of carbon dioxide. In this reaction, the total mass of reactant, that means 12 plus 32 is equal to 44, is the value obtained for the product mass, that is the mass of carbon dioxide, which is also 44 grams. So what is law of conservation of mass? Matter can neither be created nor be destroyed, or the total mass of reactants is equal to the total mass of products. This law was put forward by A.L. Lavoisier. This law is also called law of indestructibility of matter. Matter can neither be created nor be destroyed, or the total mass of reactant is equal to the total mass of products. We are considering the formation of carbon dioxide as the example, in which 12 grams of carbon is combining with 32 grams of oxygen to give 44 grams of carbon dioxide. Here the total mass of reactant is same as that of the total mass of products. Second law is law of constant proportion. Constant or definite proportion. This was put forward by J.L. Proust. The second law in the law of chemical combination is law of constant proportion or law of definite proportion. This law was put forward by J.L. Proust. Then what is this law says? How we can define this law? The definition is same compound always same compound always contains same element combined in same compound always contains the same element combined in definite proportion by mass. Same compound. How compounds are formed? Compounds are formed by the combination of elements. Then what is meant by element? It is the smallest component of matter which cannot be further divided either by physical or chemical method. Hydrogen is an element, oxygen is an element, carbon is an element, iron is an element, gold is an element. So when elements combine together, we are getting compound. Compounds are formed by the combination of elements. So here the definition of this law says same compound. That means a species formed by the combination of elements. Same compound always contains same elements combined in definite proportion by mass. For example, we are considering water. Molecular formula is H2O. Irrespective of the place, water always contains the elements hydrogen and oxygen. Whether water is from this article or from Kollam or from Trivandrum or from New Delhi or even from Antarctic regions, it always contains only two elements. They are hydrogen and oxygen, and their ratio is 2:1. 2 hydrogen is to 1 oxygen. This is what law of constant proportion says. So law of constant proportion or definite proportion is can be defined in such a way that same compound always contains same elements combined in definite proportions. For example, we are considering oxygen. Irrespective of the place, we are considering the example water, and irrespective of the place, water always contains only two elements. They are hydrogen and oxygen, and that they will be in the ratio 2:1. 2 hydrogen is to 1. This is a simple ratio. This is what law of constant or definite proportion says and was proposed by the scientist J.L. Proust. Third law is law of multiple proportion. Law of multiple proportion was proposed by the scientist John Dalton. Law of multiple proportion states that when two elements combines together to form more than one compound, the fixed mass of one combining with the fixed mass of the other will bear a simple ratio. That is, when two elements combine to form more than one compound, the different masses of one of the element that combine with a fixed mass of the other element bear a simple ratio. What does it mean? Two elements are combining together. For example, we are considering the two example elements, hydrogen and oxygen. So two elements are combining together. So we are taking the first element as hydrogen and the second element as oxygen. So these two elements are combining together in different ratios. The first compound that we are getting is water, H2O. And the second compound is H2O2, hydrogen peroxide. So two elements, they are hydrogen and oxygen. They are combining together and we are getting two products. They are water having the molecular formula H2O, and the second compound is hydrogen peroxide having the molecular formula H2O2. Here the ratio is 2:16. That is 1:8. Here also 2:32. That means 1:16. We may have some doubt. What is the 16? 16 is the mass, atomic mass of this oxygen. Atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. Here you know H2. This 2 stands for 2 hydrogen. So 1 plus 1 is 2. That is 2. Is to 16. 16 is the mass of this oxygen. So 2:16. So we are getting, simplifying, we will get 1:8. Then second one, hydrogen peroxide. 2 hydrogen. So the mass is 2. Mass of 1 oxygen is 16. So the mass of 2 oxygen will be 32. That means 2:32. Simplifying, we will get 1:16. So here what is happening? The same compound, two elements combining to form more than one compound. The different masses of the elements that combine with the fixed mass of the other is a simple ratio. Here we are getting the simple ratio as 1:8 and 1:16. This is what is called as law of multiple proportion. So the third law of chemical combination is the law of multiple proportion. This was proposed by John Dalton, and we can define this law in such a way that if two elements combines together to form more than one compound, the different masses of one of the element that combine with the fixed mass of the other will bear a simple ratio. Examples, the elements we are taking is hydrogen and oxygen. This hydrogen and oxygen are combining in different ratios to give two different compounds. Even though they have been combining together in two different ratios to give two different products, the net result is a simple ratio we are getting. That means H2O, the ratio is 1:8. In H2O2, the ratio is 1:16. When two elements combines together to form more than one compound, the fixed mass of one of the compound that combines with the other will be always bear a simple ratio. The fourth law is law of reciprocal proportions. Law of reciprocal proportion was put forward by Jeremias Richter in 1791. Before entering into the definition, we will discuss an example which illustrates the law of reciprocal proportion. Let's discuss. Alright, we are considering two elements. They are carbon and hydrogen. Carbon and hydrogen combines together to form methane. The ratio is 12:4. Simplifying, we will get 3:1. Then hydrogen combining with oxygen to form water. The ratio is 2:16. Simplifying, we will get 1:8. So we are considering two elements. Which are the elements? Carbon and hydrogen. This carbon is combining with hydrogen to form the compound methane. 12 is the mass of carbon. Atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. Here 4 hydrogen is there, so 12:4. Simplifying, we will get 3:1. This is the simple ratio involved in the formation of methane by the combination of carbon and hydrogen. Second is, hydrogen can combine with another element. Which is that element? Oxygen. So hydrogen and oxygen may combine together. We will get a compound known as water. The ratio is 2:16. What is this 2 denotes? It is the mass of 2 hydrogen atom. The atomic mass of oxygen is 16. So simplifying, we will get 1:8. Then there is another chance. Carbon can combine with oxygen. So carbon combining with oxygen, we will get carbon dioxide. The ratio is 12:16. 12:32. Simplifying, we will get 3:8. This is what law of reciprocal proportion says. Then we are going to see what is the definition of this. Somewhat difficult to understand, so only first explained in terms of the example. So what the example says, I will repeat the example once again. Carbon is combining with hydrogen to form methane. Their simple ratio is 3:1. Also, hydrogen combined with oxygen to form water. Its simple ratio is 1:8. Then carbon and oxygen also can combine together to form carbon dioxide, and the simple ratio is 3:8. In which way they combine together? The net result is a simple ratio. That is what law of reciprocal proportion says. So, law of reciprocal proportion can be defined as, it is the ratio of masses of two elements which separately combine with a given mass of the third element is the ratio in which the two elements react with each other, or a simple multiple of the ratio. But the law says the ratio of the masses of two elements which separately combine with the given mass of the third element is the ratio in which the two elements react with each other, or a simple multiple of this ratio. It will be clear from the example that we have just explained. That is carbon combining with oxygen. Here hydrogen again combine with oxygen. Then these two can combine together. Which are the two? Carbon and hydrogen, which is not so common here in this. The first step, carbon with hydrogen. Second reaction, hydrogen with oxygen. So the different elements, they are carbon and oxygen, can also combine together, and their combination will also result in a simple ratio. This is what is called as law of reciprocal proportion, and is proposed by Jeremiah Switzer in 1791.